I decided to celebrate Christmas and New Year with my former in-laws, since my own relatives asked my ex-wife to join them for the holidays. This whole situation was originally posted by me under the username IntrepidCut337. We separated early in 2025 after she revealed she is lesbian. We're both currently 42 and had been a couple for almost 17 years. I chose to cut off all communication with her, and I've mostly succeeded in keeping that boundary. My relatives maintained a connection with her, something I couldn't completely prevent. They claimed that after so many years she had become like family to them. Until recently, this never really disturbed my peace. My ex got along wonderfully with her own relatives, and I myself had a very warm bond with them, especially her mother. When she disclosed her orientation, they rejected her completely and cut her off. Coming from a Caribbean heritage, homophobia played a significant role in their reaction. The initial arrangement was to pass Christmas and New Year at my parents' house. After the difficult year I endured, that sounded comforting. But in early December, my mother mentioned she had spoken with my ex. Because my ex had nobody to share the holidays with, Mom had extended an invitation for her to join our Christmas meal. I was deeply upset by this. My mother responded that she couldn't bear the idea of anybody facing the holidays completely alone. I told her plainly, in that case, I'd prefer to skip it and spend Christmas by myself. She dismissed my feelings as over the top. Soon afterward, I got a holiday greeting card from my ex's parents. I called to express gratitude. The conversation felt warm and genuine. During our chat, my former mother-in-law inquired about my holiday plans. I explained the dilemma and mentioned I was leaning toward staying away from my parents' gathering. She immediately said I was welcome anytime and invited me to come spend the season with them. I accepted without hesitation. A few days before Christmas, I informed my mom that I would definitely not be attending. She was devastated and urged me to change my mind. I went to stay with my ex's relatives instead, and the time was truly wonderful. They prepared authentic Caribbean dishes, including delicious curry goat, and their company felt comforting and kind. I ended up enjoying myself so thoroughly that I remained until New Year's. I intend to keep the connection alive. I even re-established contact with my ex-sister-in-law during the visit. There may have been mild flirtatious vibes, though I didn't pursue anything at the time, though I'm not ruling it out completely. The year is still fresh after all. She willingly shared her phone number and suggested we could meet up whenever I liked. I returned home yesterday, and my mother was furious. She accused me of destroying the holiday and called me heartless for choosing to be with those kinds of people, meaning my ex-in-laws. Apparently, many other relatives are upset with me as well. Am I wrong for choosing to spend the holidays with my former in-laws rather than my biological family, simply because they welcomed my ex? Top relevant comments. Commenter 1. Basically, you each inherited the other's family in the separation. Hilarious. Commenter 2. Your mom claims she can't stand anyone being solitary during Christmas, so she deliberately brought in your ex, fully aware you had gone completely no contact. When you pointed out that her decision would leave you isolated, she insisted on prioritizing your ex anyway. Choosing no contact usually means that person caused serious pain. Yet your mother placed the person who wounded you above your own well-being. She essentially told you to either endure being around your source of trauma or accept solitude. That's the heart of the issue, far more than whatever prejudiced views the in-laws hold, which are awful too. Your mom can pound sand. She has zero justification for being mad when you refuse to play along with her manipulative setup that expected you to be a pushover. Your ex-in-laws still have personal work ahead regarding their biases. Hopefully, they can eventually move past the ingrained prejudice and truly embody the warmth they showed you. Commenter 3, classic ESH, everyone sucks here. Your mother is wrong for disregarding your clear wish to avoid your ex, even if her intention was kind toward someone who suffered. You're wrong for essentially endorsing homophobia in general, and especially for rewarding the precise homophobia that caused this mess in the first place. If they hadn't rejected their daughter, none of this would have happened. So you're indirectly validating both their overall attitude and their specific cruelty toward her. I'm half inclined to call you a jerk simply for wanting zero contact after 17 years with someone who, as far as you've said, never actively harmed you, but merely came to terms with her own identity. Without full context, I'll reserve final judgment on that part. Maybe she handled the revelation terribly. And obviously the ex's family are awful for disowning their child over her being gay. Op's reply, you're jumping to conclusions without knowing the full picture. Certain revelations devastated me. She admitted she was never sexually attracted to me, loved me platonically but never romantically, fantasized about women during intimacy. Picked me mainly because I was kind and non-abusive, unlike previous partners, and figured we'd just stay friends forever. No way was I going to pretend everything was fine and hand her even one extra day of my life. I turned instead to practically the only people left who genuinely care about the pain I endured. So no, I refused to keep someone around who basically deceived me and took 17 years under false pretenses. Commenter 3. Interesting that you only tackled the one part I explicitly said I'd withhold judgment on and skipped everything else. Op's reply. That particular assumption irritated me, the idea that I might be wrong for cutting contact after a breakup when you knew nothing about our situation. I have nothing else to add. It is what it is. Sure, call me a jerk. I'll accept that label if it means I wasn't sitting alone and miserable on Christmas. Update, 6 days later this week, I noticed several missed calls from my second cousin's daughter's phone. She's like a distant younger cousin. My mom is very close to her family. And when she was younger, she sometimes felt like a little sister because I helped watch her when her mom worked. I returned the call and she immediately launched into a tirade, hurling every insult imaginable. I tried explaining my perspective. She refused to listen. Eventually, I told her to get lost. She immediately told her mother, who then bombarded me with angry social media messages about how dare I speak that way to her 30-year-old daughter and how terribly I'm treating my own mother. I blocked her. No doubt she'll spread her version to my uncle, other cousins, and whoever else will listen. She's manipulative and twists stories to appear innocent, so I expect more drama soon. I don't mind if others attack me, I'll just block and distance myself. Clearly my mom has been venting to people, so I called her directly and confronted her. She confessed she had shared the story because she felt wounded. I told her she has no concept of real pain, and that she, my father, and my ex inflicted far deeper hurt on me than anything I could ever do back. I said I no longer wished to communicate and asked her not to call. I won't be calling either. Later, she sent several lengthy text messages. I deleted them unread and blocked her number temporarily. Since Christmas, I've barely spoken to her at all, not just this week. And honestly, the relief has been enormous. It's shown me how much emotional energy she's drained from me my entire adult life. She used to phone twice daily, each conversation lasting at least 30 minutes. Really, it was her unloading while I listened. Constant trauma dumping about my dad's issues, her own health fears, the dog's problems, grieving dead relatives. Sobbing about how she believes she'll die soon. Twice every day, for years. Ironically, my ex used to joke that I deserved an award for tolerating it so long. Now my ex is cozying up to them. Funny how that works. Even though the circumstances are messy, I feel noticeably lighter, like a heavy weight is finally gone. I heard from my ex-mother-in-law again. I sent her New Year wishes. She replied warmly, and we've exchanged several messages since. The exchanges feel real, like someone who actually values my thoughts and feelings. She's invited me to her birthday celebration in March, and I plan to attend. I realize many will criticize me for staying in touch with people who hold bigoted views, but right now they're literally the only ones showing me care and affection. I'm not willing to walk away from that and face isolation again. I've also been texting back and forth with my ex-sister-in-law. We've chatted a bit. She isn't after anything committed since she recently escaped a toxic relationship. I'm in the same headspace, so something casual or friends with benefits feels right. We might get together soon, actually. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Top relevant comments. Commenter 1, out of everyone alive, you're pursuing your ex's sister. That's begging for chaos. Commenter 2, you're trying to hook up with your former sister-in-law while acting like the injured party. You're spending time with her relatives, yet throwing a fit because she's spending time with yours. Her family abandoned her, yours embraced her. What exactly is your complaint? You come across as foolish. Small wonder your relatives see you as the problem. Ops reply, funny how everyone objects when I grow close to her family, but nobody bats an eye when she takes over mine. My issue is that my own relatives abandoned me during my lowest point, yet rallied around the person who shattered my world. If I'm acting poorly, blame the environment I was raised in. Commenter 3, sleeping with your ex's sister is a terrible plan. Focus on healing before jumping into anything romantic or sexual. Whether she always knew she was lesbian and used the marriage for cover, or only realized it later, either way it's brutal to invest 17 years only to be discarded like you meant nothing. Her orientation isn't a choice, but transparency with you was, and she failed there. The truly awful part is your family siding with her instead of you. Even understanding that she was cast out by her own people, it's unforgivable for parents to prioritize anyone over their own son's pain. Looking at your mom's behavior, it seems she craves being seen as both saintly helper and tragic victim. Both feed her need for attention. Have you considered that your ex's family might be using kindness toward you mainly to punish or signal to their daughter what she's lost? It feels nice now, but remember, blood is thicker than water. They could reconcile with her eventually. What then? Build your own support network, start over, get involved in new interests. Consider adopting a pet if you're not allergic. Animals return unconditional love for the care you provide. You've proven you're capable of deep devotion over those 17 years. A pet could bring real comfort. Wishing you genuine healing and brighter days this year. Still ESH because pursuing the sister-in-law looks spite-driven. Ops reply, I'm so tired of everyone praising her honesty. People have repeated that line for a year now, and every time it makes me want to shout. I would have welcomed honesty 5, 10, or 17 years earlier. Sure, maybe her family doesn't truly care, but right now I feel genuinely valued, which is the least lonely I've been in forever. I did have a sweet little cat I adored. My ex took her when we split. I never want to experience that kind of loss again. Commenter 4, your original post tried to paint your ex as the villain but conveniently left out the part where she took your cat. Ops reply, I'm not discussing it. That wound is still too raw.